So if you want to optimize your battery's longevity, maybe set the battery charge limit to just 80%. All right, here we go. Throttle only up to 20. Let's see how long it takes. 1400 watts, it's showing 15. Let's get into our hill climb test. We'll see what the minimum speed is. I am very curious to compare it to what the Marker did up our hill. First test will be throttle only. That warranty is a bold move, and it's the thing I most want your take on. Is a 5-year warranty enough to earn your trust in a brand this new? $18.99, that's the price of the Monarch Tracer, and by the end of this video, I think you're going to feel like that's a mistake in your favor. Because the Monarch Tracer doesn't come with one battery, it comes with two for a claimed range of up to 120 miles on a city commuter that costs less than $2,000. And don't worry, it comes in other colors, which we'll get into. I've been spending the last few weeks with the Tracer, and in this review, I'll walk through all the components. We'll go through the display in detail. It's a touchscreen display. Then we'll take it out for a ride and see how this motor performs. And then I'll wrap things up with some third-person riding footage where I'll give you the pros and cons, with the end goal being to help you make an informed purchase decision. But before all that, let's take a closer look. Quick context on the brand Monarch. They are a new brand. They're actually new to me, but don't worry, they're not new to the e-bike industry because they're backed by the largest company in the United States, Lectric, if you're not familiar. So with this backing, they've now launched two models. First, the Marker, their fat tire e-bike, and here we have their Tracer, which is their commuter style e-bike. A few things that have defined Monarch as an e-bike company, at least so far, is every bike comes with two batteries. Standard, not an upsell. Next, they have a 5-year warranty. And finally, what they're cheerfully calling Minnesota nice customer service. So just give them a call if you're curious about something. Even their colors are local: taconite, superior, birchwood, and what I love, this Juneberry. It's a matte color. And just real quick, if you're planning to pick up a Monarch e-bike, why not support content like this? Use our link down in the description or scan the QR code on your screen before you buy. It's free and really helps us out, so thanks for your support. There's two frame options. This is the step-thru, or you can get it in a step-over. Standover height on the step-thru is a nice and accessible 20 inches. The step-thru fits riders all the way down to 5'2", up to 6'3". I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam, and I can still get full leg extension. And we put a bunch of riders on this bike, including my wife, who's 5'5". Total weight capacity is 330 pounds, 59 pounds on the rear rack. Another important consideration, in my opinion, is the step-thru comes with more swept-back handlebars for a more upright riding position compared to the step-over. Now, Monarch is a direct-to-consumer company. That means a bike will show up at your door. You can assemble it yourself or have a trusted bike shop do it. Though, as you'll see, Monarch tries to make it easy. We did an assembly video if you want to check it out. Also in that video, we compared the Tracer and the Marker. Let's dive into all the components. We have 4-piston Talon P4 hydraulic disc brakes. They're made by Star Union. A larger 203mm rotor up front and a more standard size 180 in the rear. The tires come from Kenda, 27.5 by 2.2 inches wide, checkerboard pattern. You could do some light off-roading with these. They're not strictly street tires. The front wheel attaches with a through axle for easy assembly. You get plastic fenders front and rear. They've gone with a reverse arch front suspension fork. They've branded it nice. 80 millimeters of travel. This is what you can expect. Preload adjustment on the left, lockout on the right. The front light runs off the main battery, attaches to the handlebars. There's rear running lights built right into the rear rack. When you hit the brakes, they go brighter. We also have turn signals left and right. The handlebars are BMX style inspired, and on the step-thru, they swoop back to you. You can move them further away or closer to you depending on how you like to ride. There's ergonomic locking rubber grips This is a custom design from Monarc that matches the battery case, matching Talon P4 hydraulic disc brake levers with motor cutoffs, a left-hand thumb throttle. On the right side, we have a Shimano Q's 9-speed trigger shifter. On the left side of the display is a USB-C port for charging your device. To turn on the display, power button is at the back, Monarc on boot up. So it is a touchscreen display, and I think that is an easier way to navigate the display, but let's start with the controls. First, you have turn signals, left and right. Hitting the top button here turns on the hazard lights. Hitting this button will give you additional information. I'll show you how to do it on the touchscreen in a second. Hold pedal assist up to turn on the lights. Turn them off by hitting it again. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down, indicator on the bottom of the screen. To get into the advanced settings with the controls, hold the left turn signal, and then the back button is going to be this bottom one. You also have your pedal assist, and you'll want to use the controls to change that while you're riding because the touchscreen is disabled. So there's off, cruise, breeze, explore, sport, and finally boost. On the top of the display, we have current time, which I need to update. Top right is battery capacity, speed front and center, wattage going to the motor below that. Swipe to get additional information. The first screen, we have current speed, trip, odometer, voltage, cadence, and trip time. Swipe it again, and you have miles per hour, estimated range, which does depend on what pedal assist level you're in. And we also have battery capacity. Swipe again, and you're back home. You can change the pedal assist level by tapping on the screen. Here's where this bike really comes alive. Just tap this arrow. So we'll start in general. Here you can update your time. You can turn the touchscreen on or off. Change the pedal assist view to have icon and text or just the icon. You can change the screen brightness. The homepage theme, let's change it to the topographic map. And then finally, you have buzzer. You can turn it on or off. For all of these things, yes, there is an optional rear traffic radar, as well as tire pressure monitoring. And be sure to subscribe because once their app is available, I'll be doing a deep dive, walking you through all of its features. We're back at the main settings page. One cool thing is you can enable dark mode, which I really like. Might be easier for you to read. For now though, we'll leave it on light mode. If I type bike, you have bike sleep, on or off. Headlight auto shut off. You can clear your trip data. Set walk mode speed to either 3 or 3.7 miles per hour. Change the speed limit up to 28 miles per hour as a class 3 electric bike. They also have quick select for the classes. And yes, you can turn the speed limit down if you want to. There's throttle, low and high. I'll show you what that means in the upcoming first-person riding footage. Low ties your throttle to the pedal assist level. High gives you full access to the throttle in every pedal assist level. You can factory reset. And then there's advanced settings. You can turn the throttle on or off. Switch between the torque or the cadence sensor. Turn cruise control on or off. Importantly, there's motor tuning. You can customize every pedal assist level. So you can change the max torque, assistance, and pedal response. And these are the default settings. So boost mode is maxed out. And of course, you can reset them to default. There's battery under voltage. Battery voltage, we'll skip the wheel sizes, but there's battery charge limit. So if you want to optimize your battery's longevity, maybe set the battery charge limit to just 80%. It's something that's rare on electric bikes these days. Next, there's devices. This is how you would connect the tire pressure monitoring, the smart helmet, or the radar, as well as your phone. Next, we have controller. Battery information, including the cycle count. You can also view the current temperature, max temperature, voltage of the cells. And then there's HMI, that's going to be your software versions, as well as your serial number. And back at the main screen, we have our topographic map. And that's it for the controls and this large, easy to read touchscreen display. There's nice smooth welds at the head tube, 3 mounting points on the down tube for perhaps the best water bottle cage on the market, 2 right here on the frame reinforcement, and 2 on the seat tube. I'm guessing they'll launch some accessory that will go here. We'll see. To remove the battery, keyhole on the left, turn to the right, it will pop out slightly, then push this button to fully release it. And remember, you get 2 of them, so you could bring one along with you. You could have one always ready to go at home. It's totally up to you. Each battery is 48 volt, 15 amp hours for a total capacity of 30 amp hours. which is very rare. The batteries are certified to UL2271. The entire bike's electronics are certified to UL2849. You can get an idea of the capacity by pushing this button right here. It can be charged up right here when it's off the bike, or when it's in the bike by lifting up this rubber cover. And if you're buying an e-bike, it's likely you'll want some accessories. We have our own store at shop.ebikeescape.com. If you buy through us, it also supports the channel. Here, I'd like to highlight our small battery bag because you're going to have 2 batteries. Why not leave the spare in a battery bag? It's waterproof and flame resistant. And when you roll it up and snap it together, you get a nice grab handle, so it's great for transportation or at-home storage. Plus, you have Velcro straps in case you do want to bring it along with you on top of a rear rack. Monarc includes a fast charger. It's a 5 amp charger, so that means just 3 hours to charge up 1 battery from empty. Other included accessories, some Allen wrenches. They also include a torque wrench, which is important for at-home assembly, so you can torque down the bolts to what Monarc states in their manual. And the way it works is simple. You simply tighten the bolt and you'll see the torque rating right here. To put the battery back in, terminals first, and simply snap into place. I find the saddle to be pretty comfortable, but they also have a grab handle on it, which is nice for when you're moving your bike around. The pedals are quick release. That makes assembly very easy, or if you need to get them out of the way on a bike rack. There's a rear mounted kickstand. The rear rack has a 59-pound capacity, has pannier hangers, and it's compatible with Mick accessories. To demonstrate, I'll be showing it off with our twin panniers, also available at shop.ebikeescape.com. But we have a ton of Mick accessories if you want to check them out. So this end goes in first, and then you have a Mick key that enters right here. So simply push in, it'll drop down, and it's fully locked to the rear rack. So this one has a Velcro zippered pouch on the top, and then panniers on each side for storage. Or if you'd prefer, we sell rack bags like this. This is the Big Mama. Tons of storage in here as well. So with this being a Mick compatible rear rack, it just gives you a lot of versatility. The motor comes from Bafang, 750 watts nominal, 1,638 watts of peak power, engaged with either the cadence or the torque sensor, your choice. There's a matching Shimano Q's derailleur, again, 9 speeds, 11 to 36 teeth in the rear, and up front, 48 teeth. Nice chainstay protector. With that, let's get into some first-person riding footage. I can't wait to see how this bike performs, and we'll see how it does up our hill climb test. All right, here we go. Throttle only up to 20. Let's see how long it takes. I have the throttle set to high, which I'll explain again in case you missed it. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. 1,400 watts, it's showing 15, 18, and there's 20. Felt the motor backing off. So now let me change throttle to low, and I'll explain the difference. Note that the touchscreen does not work while you're riding. That's a safety precaution. And also, if it rains, you don't want that messing with your touchscreen. So go to bike, speed limit. We'll change it to 28 for while I'm pedaling, but we'll change throttle to low. So before, with throttle turned to high, I had full access to the throttle in any pedal assist level, except when it's turned off. The throttle is disabled. So now I'm in cruise using the throttle, and I'm just getting a consistent amount of power from the motor, just 200 watts going down a slight hill. So I will creep up in speed, but I'm getting far less wattage from the motor compared to before when throttle was set to high. So if I go to breeze, I'm getting around 400 watts. Explore, 775 watts. That's going to get me to 20 easier. And then in sport, 1,100 watts. And of course, boost. That's where I'm getting the full 1,400 watts of power. So you can change how you want the throttle to work. And another thing I will call out is the throttle can be modulated a bit. You have to be a little bit careful. I'm in boost now, and if I give it a little bit of throttle, all right, I can get, it's a little bit touchy. I'm getting 300 watts there, 400 watts, and then just a little bit more. So if you can modulate your thumb, you can get less power from the throttle if you want, just by how much you're pressing it. So keep that in mind. All right, now let's go through the various pedal assist levels. We will start with the torque sensor. What is a torque sensor? Well, it measures how hard you're pushing on the pedals and amplifies it. Think of it as rewarding you for working harder. Of course, the power still depends on your pedal assist level, as you'll see. So it's more of a natural riding experience. Engage is nice and quick. So in pedal assist level 1, just spinning my legs nice and easy in cruise, getting just 60 watts. So it's just nice. It's so accessible. I like that they have this tuned from the factory the way it is. Though, of course, you can change the tune of every pedal assist level to your liking. These are the stock settings, though. And so cruising at 8 miles an hour, let me shift up into third gear. Remember, that's of 9. So a little bit more power from my legs. I can certainly go faster, 11, 12 miles an hour, getting around 150 watts. All right, and if I put even more effort in, getting closer to 300 watts, going 15 miles an hour, though my legs can feel it. Let's go into breeze. We'll leave it in third gear. So now just easier to get between 200 and 300 watts. Going up this slight hill, going at 11 miles an hour, 12, shift up to fourth gear. So 14 or 15 getting 300 watts. Let's shift up into sixth gear, put in just a little bit more power, not a ton. Getting closer to 20 miles per hour. There's 17, 18. Might even want to shift up again here. So that's sixth gear. So yeah, this would be totally doable for a long ride still. 19 miles per hour. Let's go into explore. All right, now we're getting closer to 800 watts. This is where you're starting to get a lot more power into class 3 speeds, which is what I have it set to. All right, shift up into seventh gear. So yeah, still 2 pedal assist levels away from boost and going at 21 miles per hour, super easy. And a little bit more leg power. All right, getting closer to 1,000 watts, maybe 800 or 900. There's 26 miles an hour. I did shift up to 8th gear. So yeah, 27. So you don't even need the higher pedal assist levels to hit the higher speeds. It was similar on their fat tire bike, the Marker, though this bike weighs a lot less, so maybe it's just a little bit easier to hit those higher speeds. And I will say, comparing the Marker to the Tracer, my preference has to be the Tracer, just much more of a nimble ride. I'm not doing anything too crazy off-road wise, and these checkerboard tires just give you a little bit more confidence if in case you do find yourself just off-road slightly. All right, and in Explore, we are already getting so close to the 28 mile per hour top speed without putting barely any effort in. So I went ahead and went to Sport. We're in 8th gear, and yeah, already hitting those class 3 speeds. All right, and there's 28 miles per hour according to the display, and there it was on the GPS. So my recommendation would be actually to kind of turn down all the pedal assist levels because it's already so easy to hit the top speed in not the highest level of pedal assist. That way you just have kind of more range, if you will, and then just reserve boost for kind of the full power. All right, I have it in boost now after this stop sign. We'll see how fast I can get to 28. And I still have it in 8th gear, but we'll see if I can get going. All right, there we go. Instant power. The motor bar is just maxed out, 1,400 watts, 27, and there's 28 miles an hour. All right, so let's turn this to the Cadence Sensor, and then I will talk about cruise control after that. I've gotten used to this touchscreen already. It's just so much easier to tap it. Advanced settings, sensor, Cadence Sensor. I have it in 2nd gear, about a half rotation for the pedal assist to kick on, and I'm already getting 400 watts. This is the same experience that I had on the Marker. So what does a Cadence Sensor do? Well, it actually just measures whether you're pedaling or not, and if you are, it will give you motor power no matter how hard you're pushing on the pedals. And in Breeze, the way this comes stock is you get a ton of power already. You can see I was already going 24 miles per hour. It took me a little bit longer to get there, of course, but let's shift up into 6th gear here. 7th, having to shift up as I'm getting into the higher speeds. So Breeze already gives you 400 watts no matter what. All right, so now with cruise, I'm gonna start pedaling, and not surprising, getting less power. So now just 200 watts. So this feels like a little bit more doable from a cadence sensor perspective, just getting around 200 watts, still going 15 miles an hour and spinning my legs nice and easy. Let's go into Explore. Even more power there, 700 watts. And again, I can pedal, like at top speed, I can still put resistance on the pedals if I want to, but remember, the cadence sensor doesn't care. It's just checking whether I'm pedaling and then giving me motor power. So you can see I'm already cruising at 27 miles an hour. And in sport, it's just going to give me more power. I'm going to get to those top speeds even faster. And in boost, of course, it's just maxing everything out. So in my opinion, the torque sensor already provides enough power easily if you wanted to. Of course, you can play around with the motor tuning. I think why not use the torque sensor? But the cadence sensor is there if you want it. All right. Next, let's talk about cruise control. I'm going to use a little bit of throttle here, and then I'm going to hold pedal assist down. A little tricky, but you can do it. And it looks like I set it around 12 or 13 miles an hour, and it's giving me around 200 watts. So I must have set it around 14 miles an hour, and it's just holding me there. Now, I can still pedal. It actually is still giving me assist. But then if I stop pedaling, it's not giving me any power. And it's going to kind of scoop me back up at that 14 mile per hour mark. And there we go, motor power kicking back in. So it's there if you want it. I personally don't find cruise control something that I want to use, but it's there. Next, let's talk about how the bike feels on the road. The geometry. So I actually really like these handlebars. They're not fully swept back handlebars. There's obviously no adjustable stem. But I like that they swoop back to you on the step-thru. I'm pretty upright, and I could even tilt them a little bit more towards me if I wanted to. The grips feel nice, and I will say the suspension feels pretty good too. Some of the suspension forks, I'm a lighter weight rider, and I don't find that I can kind of feel them sometimes up front, but this one I certainly can on these bumpy parts of the road. Also with the handlebars, I like that the BMX style allows for mounting of accessories like the cell phone mount that we sell at shop.ebikeescape.com. I wouldn't call the seat the most comfiest seat, but it's better than the average seat. All right, and let's test out these Talon P4 hydraulic disc brakes. All right, no problem locking up that rear tire. Maybe went a little rear heavy there. Let's try it again. Yeah, and remember you have that larger rotor up front. All right, and a little bit of off-roading here. Not that this bike is meant for it, but I'm a confident rider and I'm feeling the front suspension. Let's get into our hill climb test. We'll see what the minimum speed is. I am very curious to compare it to what the Marker did up our hill. First test will be throttle only. And this hill looks so much smaller on the GoPro. Just shy of 1,400 watts from the motor. 16, 15. And I can hear the motor, but it doesn't have that super loud whine that you sometimes get from powerful hub motors. I think they've done a great job with motor noise while keeping power high. And it looks like 15 miles per hour is going to be the minimum speed up the hill, which is very impressive. But what I'm curious about is how it does while pedaling. Let's do that next. All right, so I turned it back to the torque sensor. I reset the settings. I'm in cruise now, and in first gear, I would really struggle to get up the hill, getting just around 100 watts. Let's go into Breeze. Okay, a little bit of relief there, getting around 200 watts, but still putting in a significant amount of work. Remember, the harder I push on the pedals, the more motor power I will get, but that's harder to do on hills. Let's go into Explore. Okay, getting closer to 300 watts, but still only going 5 miles an hour. All right, Sport, closer to 500 watts of power now. I'm able to more gently spin my legs, and we're going up at just 6 miles an hour. So this would be doable. Let's go into boost though. It's jumping around, but shy of 1,000 watts, between maybe around 800 or 900 watts. And yeah, I'm able to just gently spin my legs because my torque that I'm putting down is kind of modulating this a little bit different. The motor power is kind of jumping around a little bit more. I think if I shift up, it would be a little bit more consistent. There's third gear. So yeah, it is easier to get full power from the motor up that hill in boost. Probably not surprising. And just generally, as I've been riding this bike, know that boost is a ton of power. And if you're not ready for it, or if you're a new rider, you need to definitely be careful, because if I'm just cruising at 14 miles an hour and then I take a pedal stroke, like I am getting full power from the motor. It's kind of like I'm hitting the throttle. So be mindful of that. Turn the power down if you need to. But yeah, cruising up this slightly smaller hill at 20 miles an hour while pedaling. And remember, if you're going up a hill, you can always just use the throttle, pedal alongside it. With that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Monarch Tracer. Now that we've spent some real time on the Monarch Tracer, let me pull it all together. Lectric's backing is a big reason a bike this new can show up this well equipped at $1899. But a big name behind it doesn't earn a recommendation on its own. The bike has to. And I think Monarch got the important parts right here. There's still one thing they'll have to prove though, so hang with me to the end because I want your honest take. Between the current two Monarch bikes, I actually think the Tracer ends up being the more popular of the two. The smaller wheels make it better suited to street riding, and it drops the heft of the fat tires. And again, it's only $1899. Let me start with what I like, then we'll get into the considerations. Here's what I like: the Monarch approach. What Monarch is doing here is genuinely interesting, and it's going to be fun to watch it play out. You're getting a direct-to-consumer bike with more premium components across the board than the competition, plus the kind of customer support they're building the whole brand around. And they like to throw in freebies, so check the link in the description or scan the QR code to see what they're currently including. Next, battery and range. This is the headline for me. You get two batteries, 30 amp hours of capacity in total, and up to 65 miles of range per battery. So range anxiety basically drops out of the conversation. Keep a spare topped off and ready, or run them back to back on a big day. And the included fast charger is genuinely handy. If you ride often, you'll feel the difference not sitting around waiting to top off. Beyond that battery capacity, this Bafang motor puts out a ton of power. And with being able to customize each pedal assist level, you can dial it in how you want. Keep it mellow and accessible, or crank it up for easy cruising all the way up to 28 miles per hour, even on a torque sensor. The 9-speed Shimano Q's drivetrain is a step up from what we usually see at this price, and the gearing keeps you at a comfortable cadence at every speed. The 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes performed great, and anytime a company wants to give me more stopping power, I'll take it. Here you also get a larger 203mm rotor up front. Monarch has taken a one-size-fits-most approach, but you do get two frame styles. On the step-thru, Monarch reinforced the frame for extra stability. That nudges the standover up slightly versus a wide-open step-thru, but it's still low and easy to get on and off. You also get those more swept-back bars on the step-thru, which is my preference. Want something sportier? Just grab the high step. The suspension fork felt great, especially compared to other e-bikes around this price point. And I really liked the mixed terrain tread choice here. I can't tell you how many riders ask me about taking a city-oriented e-bike off-road. It depends on your skill level, of course, but these Kenda checkerboard tires give you a bit more capability to actually do it. The MIC-compatible rear rack opens up your accessory options, and I really like how Monarch built the rear lighting right into the rack. It's a clean, sleek look. It sits up high for better visibility, and it handles your brake light and turn signals too. You've also got an integrated front light up front doing its job. I had mixed feelings about a touchscreen when Monarch announced that's what they were going to use, but I got used to it surprisingly fast. You can still use the buttons, but a lot of people are going to like how intuitive the touchscreen actually is. And it's large and center mounted, so it's easy to see. Now for the considerations on the Monarch Tracer. Here is what they still have to prove. Even with Lectric behind them, Monarch is a brand new brand. And one thing a new brand can't fake is a track record. We need to see them out in the market actually delivering on that customer support and standing behind that 5-year warranty. That warranty is a bold move, and it's the thing I most want your take on. Drop it in the comments. Is a 5-year warranty enough to earn your trust in a brand this new? Remember, part of the value here comes from Monarc being direct to consumer, so you'll need to be at least a little handy. They of course do their best, making it easy, through axle, quick release pedals, but if you're not comfortable, take it to a bike shop. Even then, I think you'll walk out with a better spec'd e-bike at a lower out the door price than the bikes it's competing against. Next, I think they nailed the torque sensor. I'd like to see the cadence sensor turned down a little bit for those that actually want to use it. And clearly it is still early days, so there are a few things we're still waiting on. The app is coming later this summer, and I expect we'll see changes over time. Some of what they have planned looks promising though. Personally, I want to get all the Bluetooth accessories on the bike and put them through their paces, so I'll hold final judgment there until I can. That includes radar and the tire pressure monitoring system, as well as their new smart helmet. If we've helped you decide on an e-bike to buy, do me a favor and use our link down in the description or scan the QR code on your screen before you buy. It's free and really makes content like this possible, so thank you for your support. Every brand needs a commuter e-bike, and I think Monarc hit the important parts with this one. But let me know in the comment section what you think. I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.